Flooding across the area has been under control for a couple of weeks, but all the water that means that in a couple more weeks, some pests could be out of control. News 18's Brittany Tyner reports floodwater mosquitoes are likely about 2 weeks away from making an appearance. Brittany, outside of the obvious annoyance of the mosquito bites, are there any other diseases that we need to be worried about, like West Nile?
Well, Dan, yes, these mosquitoes are a nuisance, but they will not carry diseases like West Nile. The insects are still at least a week and a half away from coming out in full force. But before they arrive, there's a few things you can do to protect yourself, and some of these were even new to me.
2 weeks ago, the entire area had flooded rivers, creeks, and roads. The floodwaters have receded, but the mosquitoes are on their way. Purdue entomology professor Tom Turpin says it's always tough to predict the outlook for insects, but with the flooding this spring, we can most likely count on an increase in mosquitoes.
So when we get a lot of water, like with the flooding, heavy rain that we've been having this spring, a lot more breeding sites are available. So the potential is always there for fairly high mosquito populations.
Turpin says if there is that increase, we can expect to see those mosquitoes in about 1.5 to 2 weeks because of the flooding and the recent spring-like temperatures. He says other than annoying itchy bites, these aren't the mosquitoes people should be concerned about.
The floodwater mosquitoes are basically what most people refer to as nuisance mosquitoes, in that they are not the ones that are going to be transmitting diseases to us. They're not going to be hauling the West Nile virus organisms that would cause a disease.
Turpin says you can expect to see those mosquitoes in late July into October. Even without the risk of West Nile, Turpin says a few good ways to protect yourself from being bitten are wearing repellent, preferably with DEET in it, and also wear light clothing because he says mosquitoes are attracted to dark clothing. Also, avoid providing a breeding site to mosquitoes on your property.
We need to make sure there isn't standing water. We don't want water standing around in flower pots or in tires that are sit out beside the garage where there's a little pool of water down in the bottom of that.
Turpin says be aware. Most mosquitoes tend to be evening feeders. And some good news, male mosquitoes are nectar feeders and don't feed on people. So he says half the mosquitoes you see flying around will not bite.
One thing that may surprise you, Tom Turpin says citronella candles or flames don't work very well. He says research has shown that you would need a large amount of citronella burning to keep mosquitoes away from that outdoor party or barbecue. Brittany Tyner, News 18.